Hello, watchers, and thanks for checking out How We Solve It here at Cirrus Insight. I am your host, Franchesca, Manager of People Operations, and we have our first guest.
Hi, I'm Kiara. I'm Cirrus Insight social media intern, and I'm really excited to be here.
So how are you doing today, Kiara?
I'm doing real good. As you can probably see from my background, I'm in our student store. There's a few people floating around, but it's pretty quiet up here. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, the more the merrier. So if you have an audience, you get your 5 minutes of fame. That's perfect. I love that. Well, thanks for being here and for being our first guest. But before we get going, what do you typically think about when you're in the car by yourself?
Honestly, when I'm in the car, I normally have my music going, and I would say that I kind of zone out. Like, that's my little time to lose myself in my music or in my head. And I don't really think about anything until I guess till I get there. Then I'm able to turn back on the outside world.
Okay. And what kind of music typically does that for you?
What kind of music typically does that?
Yeah, just,
Oh, man. I think this is a little bit cliche, but I listen to just about everything but country.
That's me too. I was just going to say, I listen to everything but country and that really, really, really heavy metal where you can't understand what they're saying. So other than that, I'm open. So yes, I agree. Perfect. But, it doesn't seem like you have much of a challenge when picking music because you can pretty much listen to everything. So, how do you kind of deal with any challenges that come up recently at CI, and how did you basically solve it?
Yeah, so at CI, I'm an intern, so I'm here to learn. But a lot of what I'm doing is using a lot of different platforms to kind of do our work. And I haven't used most of them before. So I'll be using them and I'll run into issues. So I won't know how to do things, or something will lock up on me, or I won't have a login to something. So a lot of what I do is I'll go find somebody who either introduced me to the platform and is a little bit better, and I can ask them a question. If they don't know the answer, then I guess I can resort to Google or the frequently asked questions for that service. And that's generally how I solve that problem.
I don't even know how we survived before Google. It's a little crazy. But do you use Google Scholar? I know a lot of people forget it's there. Do you happen to, dive into that?
I really should. I'm a university student. I forget Scholar exists. I don't think I've used it really since middle school when it was introduced to me, that first day where they gave me an assignment to use it. But yeah, no, I use other Google tools. A lot of what I do is I like to look up phrases with quotation marks, so it doesn't just give me random words all over the place in an article. So that's normally how I find things. I just Google the right way. I figured out how to do it. So.
Nice. And I think that's the trick there. And a lot of people don't understand you have to Google the right way. You just, not all the time it works just putting one specific word down. You really have to, play around with it. And it's amazing what you can find on the platform. So any additional advice that you would give anybody that just kind of comes across this besides being a Google guru researcher?
Yeah, actually there's some little guides that will tell you exactly all the different tips and tricks for Googling. Again, what I said, I mostly use quotation marks, but I know you can look things up by a file type or how old it is. So yeah, it's just figuring out which piece of information you need and then figuring out how to tell Google to get it for you.
All right. It's
there.
It's like a puzzle piece. You just kind of have to put the pieces together, and then you've got this absolutely amazing platform, Google, that just kind of generates it for you. Well, that's amazing. And I know this is a little random, but, this is what we do over here at Cirrus Insight. What do you think about those, gnomes, those garden gnomes?
A garden gnome? To be honest, I've never had a garden gnome. I've never wanted a garden gnome. I think they're a little bit creepy. I wouldn't want one. I'd prefer to have a little mushroom or a little, maybe a frog statue. Just not a little old man with a hat and a beard in my yard. It's just scary. It's looking at me. So.
No, I'm 100% with you. I am a fan of horror movies, and I just associate gnomes with all the bad things. They just they're I just feel like they're always staring at you and not even in the right way. So, you know, there will not be any time soon that I will have a gnome village in my front yard because I find that they're extremely creepy. But hey, to each his own, right? You know, I definitely would prefer like you stated, a shroom or a really awkwardly looking flamingo. So, but other than that, no, I am on the same page as you. Well, perfect. Kiara, I really, really appreciate your time here at Cirrus Insight, how you solve it. And I really do hope that you have better luck with all those tools that you utilize for Google to get to, you know, what you need. And we will be talking to you soon. And I appreciate you watchers joining us. And till next time.